Hiya, I hope you're all doing well. Today I'm back with chapter 33 of Varjak Paw. The gentleman's shoes clicked past Varjak as he flicked off the light and headed downstairs. The black cat went with him. Fury, pure, white-hot fury seared through Varjak's body, surged through his muscles, scorched away his fear. There was nothing in his mind but what the gentleman had done to these cats. It had to be stopped. Now, while he still had the advantage of surprise, there was not a second to waste. He came out of the shadows into the Contessa's room. The howling stopped at once. Everyone in the cage looked at him. 100 cats' eyes glowing in the dark. How to set them free? He'd seen the gentleman pull a lever to lock the cage. There it was, halfway up. One more climb for Varjak Paw. The wire mesh cut into his pads as he scrambled up, but at least it had grips, more than the garden wall. Varjak hooked both paws round the lever. He pulled down with all his weight and the lever clicked. The metal door swung open. Cats began to stream out. They were pushing and shoving, fighting each other to get away first. "Wait!" cried Varjak. "Everyone, we have to work together." No one was listening. They were running in a panic out of the darkness of the Contessa's room. Varjak leaped down off the cage. It was chaos on the ground. Paws and claws and tails like snakes writhed in as 100 cats fought for their freedom. This wasn't going according to plan. Where were Tam and Holly? They could help him if Holly would forgive him. A howl of pain came from somewhere outside the room. Varjak clambered over the paws and claws out of the door onto the landing into the light. The black cats were at the top of the stairs, both of them. Together they were terrifying. No one could get past them. Strewn beside them were the bodies of those from the cage who'd made it out first. They'd been swatted aside mercilessly and were either out cold or dead. Varjak couldn't tell. The others were trying desperately to get back into the Contessa's room, where they thought they'd be safe. It was carnage, but in the middle of it all, Varjak felt strangely calm. There was no way back for him. This wasn't going to be like fighting Julius or even Razor. This was something else. It was life or death. That simple. Like a dancer, he picked his way through the chaos of cats. They made space for him. A profound silence settled on the top of the stairs. Varjak looked at the two black cats and started to breathe deeply, filling his lungs. He was getting stronger and better every time. The power was growing within him like a living thing, and he could feel it again rising up now. This was what he was born to do. This was it. This was the moment he'd been waiting for all his life. Fourth skill, slow time. He sucked in the air, slowed himself down. Fifth skill, moving circles. Varjak came at the gentleman's cats, powerful as a pulsing breath. Sixth skill, shadow walking. Varjak flickered out of sight and the black cat's whiskers twitched as if they knew something was about to happen, but they didn't know what. Varjak's moving circle lifted him up, flying, an arc of vengeance aimed at the enemy. For the elder paw, for Holly and Tam, for every cat who'd vanished off the streets. The power rose in Varjak's paws. Claws slid out, white knives of fury, and slashed the gentleman's cats. Varjak was out of the shadows now. All the energy, all the darkness and light was flowing through him, going out in a blow after blow after blow. Everyone who'd ever put him down, every time he'd walked away, all his anger and his pain went into that attack. It felt overwhelming, a massive rush of power, almost more than he could control. He could win this fight. He could beat anyone, because he knew the skills. He kept the way alive. Inside him, everything Jalal had passed on was coming together. And around him he could hear the street cats, no longer mewling in fear, but cheering as he lashed into their enemy. It couldn't be long before they joined in, and then the battle would be theirs. He had one of the black cats backed against the wall, Varjak looked into its eyes. Even now they showed no expression. He launched another circle, ripped right across its face. It didn't blink. No blood came out of the wound. Varjak was tearing it apart, but it didn't bleed. How could that be? He hit it with his best shots he knew should knock out any normal cat, but it stayed standing. It didn't go down, and now he'd lost the element of surprise. The black cat hit back. It was incredibly fast, even with Varjak in slow time. He arced aside and only just dodged. The two black cats glanced at each other, and then they came for him, as they'd come for the elder paw in the garden long ago. Two bodies moving perfectly, one on each side. Varjak spun a circle as wide as he could imagine. Moving quick as thought, he deflected one blow, then another, turning them away. The circle held. He could feel the energy crackling through him, but the black cats kept coming, relentless, tireless, perfect. Two of them. They didn't give him a chance to think. Never an opening, never a chance. It took all his power, all his concentration to fend them off, and slowly they forced him back towards the Contessa's room. Smash! One of the black cats broke through his circle. His defenses were down. He reeled off balance. It leaped on him, wrestled him to the ground. Varjak twisted away, but it was no good. His enemy had him now. It was beating him into the floor. Hard to breathe. Where were the others? Why weren't they helping? Must break free. Varjak lashed out. The weight pressed down on him, pinning his claws, crushing his lungs. Varjak gagged. No air. Black eyes filled his sight. He used all the skills and they weren't enough. The way wasn't enough. But there had to be a way to win. There had to. At the edge of his vision, he saw a flash of black and white fur, a gravelly voice. The collars! The collars? Varjak looked at the black cat's neck. It wore a collar like the toy cat's. He looked into its eyes. So strange. Not like cat's eyes. Glassy. Glass. They were glass. Like the toys. Not quite alive. Not quite dead. If the gentleman could make a toy cat, why not a fighting cat? A perfect machine. Couldn't be killed. Didn't bleed. Never gave up. Could be turned on or off. From the collar. Last chance. He sucked in the air, sucked it all in and let it out in one last blast. A desperate lunge for the throat. His teeth closed around the collar, wrenched back and ripped right through it. The collar curled off the black cat's neck. Its eyes opened wide in surprise. It started to raise a paw but was slowing, and slowly, almost gratefully, it ground down to a stop. And that's the end of chapter 33. I will see you tomorrow for chapter 34. Bye.